3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
To infinity and beyond.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show. Here's your host, Zach Gelb.
From the place you're not overly ostentatious studios of the Infinity Sports Network here in beautiful New York City, sitting on top of the 10th floor of 345 Hudson Street. Welcome on in to what is a Wednesday edition of the Zach Gelb Show across all the great local Infinity Sports Network affiliates, Sirius XM, Channel 375, the free Odyssey app, the iHeartRadio app, and streaming live on YouTube. 888-710-4ISN is the number to jump on in. That's 888-710-4476. You could always get at me on Instagram, where I'm straight flexing, or via the good old cesspool of Twitter at Zach Gelb. That's ZACHGELB. We got a good show for you today. Coming up in 40 minutes from now, Ryan Hickey is going to join us in studio, and Hot Take Hickey is going to see a gift that a listener, the great Psych Mampter, did send us, and I'm currently looking at said gift right now. It is covered up on the wall with, I think, a Maggie Gray jersey and an Andrew Perloff zip-up, like basketball breakaway kind of shirt. So that's what's covering it here. It is a high-budget operation. It almost sounds like in the movie Major League, where the owner wants to get rid of the team and sell the team, and they use that as motivation, and then they slowly rip off the clothes in the clubhouse after every victory of a poster of the owner, like kind of a cardboard cutout. What were those things, by the way, that you used to put on your wall? They were like big for 5-6 years. Fat heads. Thank you, Stu. Was that on the air, or did you just say that in my ear?
Nope, that was on the air.
Okay, good. I like when that happens, when actually producers speak on the air. Sometimes, though, you have talk show hosts, they'll be like, oh, make me look a lot more intelligent than I actually am. And then they'll just only say it in their ear, and then they'll be like, oh, yeah, that's what it was. And then you have no clue what Stu actually said. But that was, yeah. So the fat heads, I wonder if those things are still around. I'm sure they are in some capacity. But I remember when I was in middle school and high school, that's what was really the heat of the whole run for the fat heads. But anyway, I would imagine here that it's kind of like in Major League with the fat head. That's sort of kind of like where they rip the clothes off. I guess that's what we'll do when Hickey will see the gift that was sent to us here at 345 Hudson Street. So Ryan Hickey, 40 minutes from now. Ty Dunn, who does a great job covering the NFL, he'll join us. We'll do a little lay of the land of training camps at the top of the hour at 4 p.m. Eastern. And then I got a unsolicited text today from a coworker. And the text was from Andrew Perloff of our great morning show, Maggie and Perloff, right here on the Infinity Sports Network. Many of these same Infinity Sports Network affiliates, SiriusXM, Channel 375, the free Odyssey app, the iHeartRadio app, and also streaming on YouTube. But they do so Monday through Friday from 6 to 10 a.m. Eastern time. Now, I got a text from Perloff, and he said, I have a story that I need to tell you. I don't want to tell you beforehand. I want to tell you on the air. So I don't know what this story is about. I am curious, and I just hope the hype of Perloff, it just lives up to it. Because Perloff telling me, oh, he's got something juicy, he wants to talk to me at 4:40 p.m. Eastern time. I am not in control of this situation. I do not know what is going on right now with whatever Andrew Perloff is about to tell me. And I hope it's just not a big fat dud. Because he's hyping this up. He thinks it's entertaining. I gather he thinks it's funny. I just need to hope that he follows through on the hype, because if he ends up telling me a story and I don't give a crap about it a few moments in, that could create an awkward encounter with a coworker. And right, as the locker room leader here at 345 Hudson Street, we haven't had a locker room leader in a long time. Marco Belletti, I tried to make him El Capitan, but for some reason, he just doesn't want to really be the leader. I think he's just more of a silent leader. But I don't want to have a icy relationship with the afternoon show and the morning show on the Infinity Sports Network. So if Perloff comes on the show today and he's horrible, or if Perloff comes on the show today and his story is a massive wah, 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 I'm out of control of the situation, and it's a bad reflection on me, because then I allowed that to happen on my very fine national radio program. Also, I did see a tweet today from Projection Sports. We're a month away from the start of the college football season. The opening slate on that Saturday. I know you have week 0 the week before. I know you have some Sunday and Monday games that are good. But the first major college slate, that first Saturday, oh boy, we got some good games. You got Texas and Ohio State at noon Eastern. You also have Syracuse and Tennessee in the noon Eastern hour. Then we go to the 3:30 p.m. Eastern time window. You have Alabama at Florida State, which obviously has a ton of juice now with the Thomas Castellanos stuff. In the 7:30 p.m. Eastern time window, you do get LSU and Clemson. And then even at night, you get a good matchup. I think this game starts at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time, where you get Utah and UCLA. So we got some solid games to kick off the season. Texas, Ohio State, you could argue in the regular season, could be the most hyped college football game of the regular season calendar. Syracuse is doing a good job under Fran Brown. There's intrigue with Tennessee without Nico Iamaleava. Alabama, Florida State, big year 2 for Kalen DeBoer, who joined us yesterday. Mike Norvell, big year for him after we did see 2 years ago them be undefeated in the regular season, them win the ACC, and then because of an injury, they were out of the college football playoff. LSU Clemson, it's the battle of Death Valley. And also Utah UCLA is this Kyle Whittingham's final season, and also UCLA now has Nico Iamaleava. So there's to have 4 games like that, and I'm sure there's some others, but those 4 games really be the signature first college football Saturday. I'm very excited for college football season to get here. Now, I think I'm going to have a take that may surprise some people. For the first time all offseason, I am optimistic that the Cincinnati Bengals will actually get a deal done with Trey Hendrickson. So we sort of got some new information. And the reason why I say we sort of got some new information is because, sure, Trey Hendrickson has showed up. Trey Hendrickson is no longer holding out. He's not participating in drills, but today, when he did show up, he was active on the practice field in terms of cheering on his teammates and being a resource and talking to players. But I think it's a good faith effort by one Trey Hendrickson, who showed up, then found out there was no progress, elected to go back to Florida. He's losing $50,000 a day, so that maybe has to factor into it as well. There hasn't been conversations in a while from what we were told or what we were led to believe. But here's the line in the Adam Schefter article. Even though last week we talked about why this deal isn't getting done and it's because of guaranteed money, and that's what I threw out there, because the Bengals historically, they only guarantee, unless if you're a quarterback, they only guarantee the first year of the contract. Now, have they altered that? Yes. We've seen them alter that for Jamar Chase. I do think they have slightly altered that as well for T. Higgins. But when I looked at Trey Hendrickson, I said this last week. I said, what about you go a 2-year contract extension, $70 million, and you go a little over a year and a half guarantee where you go $55 million guaranteed? Well, the years and the total value, I don't need to try to guesstimate what it is. I know I don't know what it is for fact, but in this Adam Schefter article, this is what he said about Trey Hendrickson that gives me optimism, that kind of places this picture that the ball is on the 2-yard line. And just because the ball is on the 2-yard line, sorry, Seahawks fans, doesn't mean you are always going to score. You could have Darrell Bevell say, we're not going to hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch. You could have Pete Carroll okay that, and then back to passes Russell Wilson, and the Butler did it, and Malcolm Butler forced a turnover. Like, that could still happen. But usually when you get the ball on the 2-yard line, could there be a goal line stand? Absolutely. One of my favorite goal line stands of all time, I know Sully's listening right now, so he'll appreciate this, was when Big Ted Washington and you also had Willie McGinnis made that goal line stand. I think that was in the RCA Dome. I don't think Lucas Oil Stadium was around there yet. And I think it was 2003 or 2004, one of those years when the Patriots were playing the Colts, and they had that big goal line stand when the Colts just got stuffed right at the goal line, and the Patriots ended up winning that regular season game. But anyway, that's where we're at right now with the Bengals. The ball is on the 2-yard line, and now they got to punch the ball in. But here's the piece of information that I keep on teasing and I keep on alluding to that makes me optimistic that the Cincinnati Bengals, who I should not give the benefit of the doubt to, are actually going to find a way to get this deal done with Trey Hendrickson. According to Adam Schefter, both sides are in near agreement on the length of the deal and the total value of it, but the holdup in negotiations is over the guaranteed money in the contract. So think about that. They are near agreement on the length of the deal and the value of it. But the holdup is negotiations over the guaranteed money in the contract. If this is just about guaranteed money, and it's tough to even try to figure out how many years it is. Like if it's 2 years, I would say guarantee about a year and a half of the salary, maybe even slightly more than that. If it's 3 years, then obviously you're going to have to go more than that. You know, maybe get close to 2 years fully guaranteed salary. If it's 4 years, Maybe it's 2.5 or something like that. I don't know how they're going to divide that up, but the total years and also the total value is important, even though it's unknown right now, but at least it seems like they're in agreement to that, because then it gives us an idea of how much the Bengals are going to have to come up on the guarantees. Because right now, the Bengals, from all reporting that we've read, they're only willing to go 1 year. Well, you made the exception for Jamar Chase. You've made the exception for T. Higgins. So why wouldn't you make the exception on your kind of rule here for Trey Hendrickson? Because last time I checked, Trey Hendrickson the last 2 years, he said 17.5 sacks in 2023 and 17.5 sacks in 2024. And oh yeah, by the way, just led the league in sacks a year ago. So if you're the Cincinnati Bengals and you want me to take you seriously as an organization, where even if you don't have Trey Hendrickson on the field this year, can you still put up a boatload of points and maybe it's Madden and you find a way to patch together 9-10 wins and you go to the postseason? Sure, that could still happen. But if you want to reach your actual potential of what you could be, and there's still holes even if you have Trey Hendrickson, but if you want to reach your potential of what you actually can be, you got to get this situation figured out. And quite frankly, with how long this has gone on, if I'm sitting here by a week from today, if I'm sitting here next Wednesday, and we're still talking about Trey Hendrickson and this deal not getting done, like what else is it going to take? You're in near agreement to the years and also the total value. That's good. The guaranteed money part should not be this difficult. But you have a window right now which is fading, right? It is closing. We thought this window was going to be open for a long time after you got to a Super Bowl. You just lost in the Super Bowl. The following year, you lose in the AFC Championship. Since then, like, you haven't made the postseason. And yes, Joe Burrow's had injuries. Yes, there's been slow starts that have ultimately come back to hurt you at the end of the year. But you look in the AFC right now, sure, the three best teams in no order. Well, I'll put it in order. The Chiefs, the Bills, and the Ravens. After that, the fourth spot is up for grabs. It looked like a few years ago that for the foreseeable future, the best teams in the AFC were going to be the Chiefs, we're going to be the Bills, we're going to be the Ravens, and the Bengals, and all four of them are going to be vying for a Super Bowl. Now people aren't talking about the Bengals going to a Super Bowl. They're saying, oh, can they make the playoffs? Because there's been so many distractions, and they're starting to go the other way of what we thought their trajectory was going to be. You could still save this, but you need to eliminate the stigma, which is true about your organization, in that this organization is cheap, and this organization tries to cut corners. You didn't cut corners with Joe Burrow. You didn't cut corners with Jamar Chase. You didn't cut corners with T. Higgins, right? You did enough to say Joe Burrow wanted to stay, for Jamar Chase to say he wanted to stay, and for T. Higgins to want to stay, and also sign those contracts. Now you need to do this with Trey Hendrickson. So as Shefty says, the years, near agreement. Total value, near agreement. The big dilemma is the guaranteed money. You must figure out the guaranteed money now. You must figure it out within a week. And you need to find a way to have closure on this. And because of the way that Shefty worded it, once again, both sides are in near agreement on the length of the deal and the total value of it. But the holdup in negotiations is over guaranteed money in the contract. That's what sources told Adam Schefter. That's the holdup. Well, with him coming back into the building, I think that's him saying, okay, I know your price. I obviously know my price. Let's find a way to compromise here and get this thing done, because obviously me sitting at home is not making you expedite your process. So let's show up, let's take care of this, and then we can carry on our way and hope to see the best out of the Cincinnati Bengals this year. We'll take a timeout, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Ryan Hickey at 3:40 p.m. Eastern Time today. Ty Dunn at 4 p.m. Eastern. And then Andrew Perloff with some mystery story at 4:40 p.m. Eastern, 1:40 p.m. Pacific Time. We're off and running. We'll get to a news brief next.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You're listening to the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network.
Alrighty, this is Zach Gelb Show, coast to coast on the Infinity Sports Network. It's time to update you on some of the biggest stories of the world of sports with some audio. We get to a news brief right now.
Time for your daily news brief. We get you caught up on the rumors, reports, and reconnaissance from the day in sports.
Alrighty, we started things off with Trey Hendrickson. Here is Trey Hendrickson, who reported back to Cincinnati Bengals camp today.
You know, things are exactly the same. What I'm not going to do is, as best as I can, avoid being a distraction. You know, I want to help the guys. You know, the guys that have helped me along the way, Demario Davis, Cam Jordan, even Sam Hubbard helped me a lot when I was here. So to be that right now, I think that's what's most important, and this narrative will kind of iron itself out as we continue to progress. There's no blueprint on what to do, how to do it. We're just going to stand true to what being Hendrickson's means to us and moving forward from that.
So you hear that, and you go, well, hold on, Zach. You were just optimistic to start the show. And Trey Hendrickson comes out publicly and says, oh, there's really been no progress. Well, that's why I said sort of new information. Because we knew last week that the biggest gripe in this contract was over the guaranteed money. I didn't know that they were in near agreement, though, on the total years and also the total value of the contract. And the newish part that also comes on out here today is that he's showing back up. So I think if you're showing back up, it's either to put more pressure on the organization, A, or B, you're a little bit more optimistic yourself that a deal is going to get done, and then your presence being there can really get the ball over the goal line. Let's hear Trey Hendrickson, though. They followed up. Will you play under your current contract if a deal can't be reached?
Not only I've mentioned it multiple times this offseason, but also I believe ownership has as well, that there are plans on not having to play under the current deal. So I think that's something we have a common goal to get to. I think that's the plan moving forward is no distractions. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, you're only excited to be there if you got a deal done. If they don't get a deal done, don't you got to trade him at this point? And I know it's late, but if they can't get a deal done, that's the road that I think you got to go down, is you let him talk to other teams, see what he could potentially get, and then you come to an agreement in terms of compensation and where he's going to go. At this point, I don't want to say I'd be shocked if a deal doesn't get done, but if you ask me, would you be a little bit surprised? Yeah, I would be a little bit surprised if a deal doesn't get done, with the fact that he's there. They're in striking range on the total years and also the total value. It just got to be the guaranteed money, and how are they going to find a way? Not necessarily who's going to budge first, but how do you find the way to meet in the middle and make both parties happy? Let's go to Stephen Jones. He was on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas. So the Cowboys, right, have been being accused of dragging out these negotiations. We saw it last year with Dak Prescott. Now, many people, even the opinion I gave you, they share the same opinion that I gave, is that they're going to wait until the week of the season to get the deal done with Micah. I even think they're going to wait till opening night on that Thursday night to take a little shine, a little spotlight away from the Philadelphia Eagles as they do unveil a new championship banner. But here is Stephen Jones on The Fan in Dallas, firing back on the claims that the Cowboys drag out deals.
I have a theory that maybe you guys drag out the deals to get engagement from the media. Well, and it's like the best $2 million you can spend having to give Dak a few more.
Well, let's just start off. We don't agree on that. We don't drag deals out. We do deals when there's an opportunity to do a deal. Sometimes agents and players aren't ready to pull the trigger till they see other cards play. What we're not going to do is go out and, do something that's not responsible in terms of, just in the name of getting a deal done 1 month earlier. Go do it and pay the guy another $5 million of your cap space.
Yeah.
And especially when you're dealing, in our particular case, internally with guys that are homegrown here. We feel like they want to be here. I always felt like Dak wanted to be here. I always felt like CD wanted to be here.
But still, if you wait, the price only goes up, and Dak's still the highest paid quarterback in the league, and Micah's probably going to be the highest paid pass rusher in the league, and we've already had Max Crosby's deal get taken care of, Myles Garrett deal get taken care of, TJ Watt's deal getting taken care of. So if you're so confident that those guys are going to be here long term, why not get the deal done now? Just thinking out loud here. Just a little thought here by your boy, Zach Gelb. All righty, let's go Travis Hunter. He was on CBS Sports with Pete Prisco. What will his nickname be?
We got to come up with a nickname for you, okay? Because there's nobody does what you do. What will it be?
It's the unicorn.
It is the unicorn.
Yes, sir. It's the
market
unicorn.
that and get it out there and get some posters and stuff and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to see what I can do.
I like it. I like the unicorn. I call you the machine, though, because you play all those plays.
The unicorn, Travis Hunter. The machine, Travis Hunter. Does that do it for you, Stu, on either of those?
Not really. I think we could do better than that.
Like, why can't we just call him Travis Hunter and say, oh, yeah, he's also a unicorn? Santer, does the unicorn or what was the other one? The machine. Does that do it for you?
Why not the unicorn hunter? Travis Hunter, unicorn hunter? Machine hunter?
You could be on something, do something off like Hunter or something like that. But the machine, I don't know, like unicorn, he is a unicorn. But I wouldn't be like, oh, look at the unicorn. Like, now he's going to sound like Gus Johnson. Look at the unicorn. Maserati Ma. Remember he used to do that all the time for Marvin Harrison Jr.? Yeah. Doesn't really pass the test for me with those nicknames. Let's go to Julian Edelman. He was on the New Heights podcast. Has a funny story about Randy Moss.
He used to call me Edelnut.
Edelnut?
Hey, Edelnut, get my hot tub about 103 and get my Gatorade. He never wanted to go on the regular hot tub. He had to have, it was like menthol, rubbing alcohol in there. And he'd go, Edelnut, go get my towel, my Gatorade, and make that hot tub about 103, 102. Don't it up.
Yes, sir.
This one time, Randy, it was like the day before Christmas, and we had to work. We had a game on Christmas or something, and Randy was talking to his mom. I just walked by. I was like, hey, Randy, tell Mama Moss I said, Merry Christmas. He goes, Edelnut, when I'm talking to my mother mom, you shut the up.
You know, that's what locker rooms used to be like between Julian Edelman and Randy Moss. Still, I don't know what's going on in that Raiders locker room. By the way, even though I make a joke off that, I guess we have to get serious because this Christian Wilkins story, I just don't get it, if I'm just being honest. Like, I know that the main issue was the contract because he wouldn't get the surgery. So you wouldn't get the second surgery. They want to void the contract, the guarantees in the contract. So then they're looking for something. The thing that they found is allegedly, according to Adam Schefter, Christian Wilkins kissed another grown man on the forehead is bizarre. And then, even though he's not a reliable source, incarcerated Bob was basically saying he heard that Christian Wilkins was tickling some toes. I think we know 70% of the story, but this is a locker room. If the players are going to speak publicly, that's a different thing, but aren't in private someone is going to run their mouth about whatever Christian Wilkins did. But Adam Butler elected to get real serious when he was at the podium. Here's a defensive lineman for the Raiders.
We pretty much just kind of moved on from the situation. You know, I really don't want to comment further on it, but I will say that, you know, whatever you're going through as a person, athlete, non-athlete, whoever, whatever your struggle is, if you got something going on in life, just, you know, talk to somebody. Get some therapy. You know, whatever your deal is your deal. Somebody out there in this world full of billions of people is willing to listen. They're willing to listen, hear you out, and help you work through whatever you need to work through. But don't make any hasty decisions. Get help.
So that makes it seem more serious. Could Christian Wilkins, could he have kissed a teammate on the cabeza on the head as a joke? Yeah, I think that's possible. And are the Raiders just trying to get out of the contract and that's what they use with an HR violation? Yeah. The tickling the feet thing would be really weird. And I mean really weird. And probably would only go on in a Rex Ryan locker room. Dun-dun-dun. But when Butler says what he said in a very vague way, it makes me think that there's a lot more to this story that we don't know. Let's go. This is going to be an awkward transition after we go from that to this. Hugh Freeze talking about length and girth of running backs. Listen up.
I don't really get hung up on the running back's weight, but it is good that you have some that have some girth to them. But there's no doubt you need length and girth in this league up front, and I think at linebacker too, and it helps if you have it in the secondary.
Length and girth. Length and girth. That has been a big topic of conversation on social media today with Hugh Freeze. Here is John Kruk and Tom McCarthy on NBC Sports Philadelphia. Oh, I haven't heard this yet. They made an Angel Reese joke during the game. All right, let's hear if the joke is funny from Kruk and McCarthy.
John, I got to send birthday wishes out to my former center in basketball in high school, Bob Wiskowski's wife, Christine. He was a heck of a basketball player. It's all because I missed a lot of shots and he cleaned them up.
Yeah. It's, don't want to say anything, but there's someone here in Chicago that does that a lot.
That is true. She gets her points.
She gets her rebounds, too. We'll be getting some tweets about that, I'm sure.
I kind of want Shaq to respond to this. Because remember what Shaq said about RG3, now a totally different thing. But imagine if Shaq goes, hey, John Kruk, keep Angel Reese's name out your mouth or else I'm going to hit you over the head, you big fat dummy. That would really be something.
Now, Angel Reese did respond to it.
To John Kruk's? No, she didn't.
Yeah.
She's responding to John Kruk's comment. Do you think she even knows who John Kruk is?
I mean, he said we're going to get some tweets out of this, and I guess he was right. She tweeted out, clout is one hell of a drug. Like, it really gets to a point.
Come on. It's an innocuous statement right there. It's a joke. We can laugh a little bit. I thought that was a funny remark there by John Kruk. Finally, this is on the Dan Le Batard show. I must have missed this. So, Ichiro in his Hall of Fame speech, I saw some of it. It was really good. He made a joke about David Sampson. Do you know what the joke was?
He made a joke about the Marlins where he said, when they inquired about signing me, I was like, I've never even heard of the Marlins. I didn't even know they existed.
Yes. I actually did see that part. I thought there was something maybe directly related to Sampson, but it makes sense because he was, the president of the team at the time.
And he did mention Sampson by name before he made the joke.
Okay, gotcha. So here is David Sampson. Was he offended by Ichiro Suzuki's Hall of Fame Marlins joke?
You hear your name come out and you're just so overwhelmed with gratitude that your name comes out, and then you hear the Marlins joke, and I immediately thought, my God, anything other than that. Because that is, you could just tell that people were going to think that was serious, but it wasn't. He wanted to let people know what a funny side he has to go with how important his message was during his speech.
All right, I think he's overanalyzing that, if I'm just being honest with David Sampson. All right? I think he's putting too much of the thinking cap on right here with that one. All righty, we'll take a timeout. Ryan Hot Take Hickey will join us next. Update time first. Here he is, Gordon Damer.
Infinity Sports Network. Sports Flash.
Zach, this Sports Flash is sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting your business vehicles 24/7. See if you can save at progressivecommercial.com. All the baseball trade deadline set for tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern, but teams not waiting around till then. Reds picking up kid Brian Hayes from the Pirates today for reliever Taylor Rogers and a prospect. Reds desperate for third base production. They ranked 28th in baseball, putting up a 620 OPS this season at that position. Hayes, not much better, career OPS of 676, but he does bring Gold Glove caliber defense. On the scoreboard, Blue Jays trying to snap their 4-game losing skid right now, lead the Orioles 9-8 as they play in the 8th. Red Sox all over the Twins 8-1. The Braves and Royals are scoreless top 6. The Cubs a 5-2 lead on the Brewers in the bottom of the 5th. Michael Busch there with his 21st of the season. The Astros a 4-1 lead on the Nationals. And the Tigers get home run number 18 from Kerry Carpenter. They beat the Diamondbacks 7-2. From the NFL, Trey Hendrickson did show up to Bengals training camp today. Only watched, though, from the sidelines. I'm Gordon Damer.
Hey, like us on Facebook. Our handle is INF Sportsnet. That's INF Sportsnet for our Facebook page. This is the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break.
4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The piping hot takes of Ryan Hot Take Hickey do not, I repeat, do not reflect the views of the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network.
It's Hick at Night Sunday, now combing our hair with moose gel and spray. The takes are so hot, 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 sometimes it's right, usually not. This best segment is coming up next, but you better watch out for the Hickey head. Hot takes and hair gel on a Sunday night. Hickey's dropping takes that probably on a cry. Dropping a teaser for what's coming up next, but you better watch out for the Hickey heads. Talking Penn State while Stu's smoking kush, but Hickey is always the number one rush. You will nicer and more, it's Mike and more sober than Stu. We only joke of us, we like you, but I have to ask, is it true? Is your hair held together by pace and loop? Oh, Hickey's takes are coming up next, but you better watch out for the Hickey heads.
Alrighty, it's time to ask the pros. The listener gets asked us a question brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Simply tweet your question at INF Sportsnet or at Zach Gelb using the hashtag #AskThePros. Be listening later in the show. We might answer your question. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts. And you heard the music. You heard the song. Now we go to the man with the really high hair and the hot takes, and he is Ryan Hot Take Hickey. Hickster, how are you?
Z-Man, well, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic today. So, a few things here right out of the gate.
Okay.
We do have a gift for you that was sent in from a listener.
Oh.
He sent it to Samter.
Okay.
And it's our show related, but it was said to give to you by the great tweeter Psych Mamter.
Wow.
Who sent me a bottle of ranch a few weeks ago saying, you're going to have to eat this if we don't get the YouTube stream back up and running. So that is what pushed the ball over the goal line, is Psych Mamter sending us a bottle of ranch. And then he sent us another gift that was, congratulations on getting the YouTube stream back up and running, but he wanted us to give the gift to you. So it's a you gift.
What? This better not be Skippy peanut butter. That's all I got. First of all, I'm not eating Skippy peanut butter. He gave you ranch. I ain't doing Skippy.
Can I just, be honest here for a second?
Sure.
Are you the least observant person on the planet?
Meaning? I guess, my girlfriend does sometimes call me Mr. Oblivious. I disagree with that title.
The gift is almost right behind your shoulder. I was going to say under your nose, but it is behind your shoulder.
Behind this, covered up?
Yeah. Like, you walk into the studio and you walk right past us and you didn't realize this jersey that's on the wall with then some sweatshirt just randomly on the wall. You didn't
To be fair, I had my head down. I was finicking with my headphones. I was playing with the headphone jack to make sure I got the volume right.
You don't work at nights anymore. You can't doze off anymore. Now you're in the daytime.
So this gift that was sent in by Mike... No, I'm sorry. Psych Mamter. My apologies.
Get his name right.
Is behind this wall of clothing, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be like the movie Major League, where you're going to have to take off the clothing items so you could actually see the gift.
Is it a poster just like Major League? It's a great gift, if so.
It may be a poster.
Oh, okay.
I got a quick little sneak peek of the gift, and I thought it was very funny.
Okay. So when is go time?
Oh, in a few seconds.
Oh, okay.
It's the radio. You got to let things play on out.
I'm intrigued.
That's why you're behind the glass, though. Do you have some PTSD, though, when it comes to gifts being given through me or from me to you? Because one point I did get you a Russell Wilson jersey, which people would say, oh, very nice gift.
Wow.
But the gift came at the expense of Hickey saying that Russell Wilson would not only win the league MVP, the Broncos would win the Super Bowl, and he would win the Super Bowl MVP.
That's right.
Also, when your Colts signed Matt Ryan, I got you a 28-3 the only one of one 28-3 Indianapolis Colts Matt Ryan jersey. Now, I have got you some other nice gifts through the year.
The Anthony Richardson T-shirt was very nice that I still have, and hopefully I can break out this year if the guy can complete a pass.
I think
Fingers
you may
crossed.
want to tap out of that gift, if I'm just being honest. I also got you pasta once. A bunch of pasta boxes with marinara sauce.
I'm a simple man and eat my pasta every single day. That is true. So it's like 50-50. Now, it's not from you, so it's not like I'm dreading it. I'm more intrigued because it is from my Psych. I look over and I see Mike Samter.
Can you care about the listening audience?
I'm going to trust Psych here that it's a good gift.
Okay. So, Psych Mamter is unbelievable we say things and then the next second there's a graphic associated with it. Like yesterday, we were talking about ice cream flavors because there was a big ice cream social here.
Uh-huh.
And he created a stew high ice cream flavor. He created a Samter Warren Sapp flavor and then a Gelb blue cheese flavor as well. So he is very, very, very witty.
Okay.
Now, Mike, not Psych Mamter, Michael Samter. And this person, Psych Mamter, does exist. This is not Samter. This is not some bit. This guy has been sending us stuff on the internet. He's been sending us gifts to the station. He is quite frankly, the company should hire him, if I'm just being honest. Like, he needs to be a part of the creative team here. But Samter, you give me the thumbs up when you are ready. Oh, wow. We got a quad box now?
Oh, yeah, baby.
Oh, my God. Can we get like an Octobox as if this is Red Zone or something like that?
Wow, this is pretty cool.
An Octobox? Who else needs to be in the Octobox?
Like, get Gordon Damer. We could get the intern in the
gotta
newsroom.
get the gift.
We have
The
four.
gift.
We have exactly 4 cameras. So if we were to do an Octobox, we would have to
Get more
invest.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not more people, more cameras.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That's really no problem. We'll get that passed.
Yeah, it's, it only took about 7 years to get us back up and streaming on YouTube. So if we ask for 8 cameras, that could be difficult. So this is how you want to do it on 4 cameras?
No. We're gonna zoom in a little bit closer. But since you were talking to me, I figured we might as well have everybody here.
Gotcha. Okay. So Hickey, I want you to stand up.
Okay. Microphone on, I'm assuming,
Yeah,
correct?
keep the microphone on.
Microphone's on.
But
I'm
do
standing
not touch the gift yet. All right? No, don't touch it. Listen.
I'm near. I'm near it.
Okay. Now, what I want you to do is that left arm. So, yes, that way. I want you to slowly undo that, untie it, but hold it still together. Like, don't look. Don't peek.
No peeking.
Close your eyes. Well, then, yeah. All righty. Now, keep in your left hand, right, both pieces of clothing together. Keep them. And then try to reach around on the right side and remove the top and the bottom. And let's see what we got here. Now, you could slowly take away the Maggie gray jersey. Throw that on the floor.
I'll place on the floor.
Yes. No, you could throw it on the floor. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. And then you could slowly see it, and then you take the Perloff jacket off. And this is the gift from the legendary Psych Mamter.
Oh, come on.
It is a photo of Ryan Hickey in his Guinness sweatshirt. It says, Ryan Hickey, the Hickey Hex, beware. What does it say? The praise? I can't really see the rest of it.
Yes, beware the praise.
Oh, just beware the praise. So there you go. And it has a Colts and a Penn State logo. And you look like Frankenstein, if I'm being honest. You look scary there. So there you go. You have a Hickey Hex poster. Why are you thrilled about this?
Because it's the Hickey Hex.
But it's real and spectacular.
So you have a surprise and so does Psych as well, the surprise for the Hickey Hex. I actually have a surprise for you. Because the Hickey Hex has gone on long enough. It is propaganda that is untrue. And now the surprise is our boss, David Meredith, who is walking right now into the studio to tell you
what
about
the heck is going
an
on
Odyssey
here?
policy you have broken. This has gone on too long, and things must be rectified.
Now hold on. I am feeling ambushed right now. So, David, we're going to have to make a management decision here.
That's correct, Zach. We don't have to make. A decision has been made.
Okay, now let me just say one thing before we hear what you have to say.
Please.
If I don't like what you have to say, there may need to be a choice to be made over me or Hickey. Because I will storm out and have you two bozos do the show.
We can have that conversation, Zach.
Okay, let me hear.
Am I on?
Yes,
okay,
you-
good.
your microphone. What fugazi policy is this? You can't even freaking turn on the microphone.
The lights don't even work. Now, Zach, it's very, very important to understand that, we live in a different kind of world. Their realities have changed. We need to be a kinder, gentler, it needs to be just a more welcoming place to work.
The PC Sports Network?
No,
Jeez, we're gonna
not
change the
necessarily
name.
PC, but you have had an unwavering, unyielding, constant, incessant.
I'm trying to make people money.
Absolutely.
Tom DeCelestino, who used to work here, put his kid through daycare because he faded Hickey's picks. He went to the best daycare in the country.
Now, having said that, Zach, the policy is that you are required by the company to take advanced compliance training. in order for this defamation and nonstop slander of our coworker to stop.
Thank you, David.
Now, I am pleased to announce for all of those listening that week 1 of the NFL season is September 7th.
Yes.
So this 12p to 8p Eastern mandatory online compliance training will take place on the second weekend of college football, Saturday, September 6th.
Oh, yeah. That's
and
wonderful.
also 12p to 8p
I'll
on
be drunk for it.
week 1 of the NFL season, Sunday, September 7th.
Okay.
If you do not meet the requirements contained therein of this remedial training,
Yes.
you will not be permitted back on the air on the Infinity Sports Network.
Boom! But my contract will still go through, correct?
Boom!
To be determined.
Oh, okay. Now, hold on. I don't really understand this
Conduct
Fugazi policy.
detrimental to the network.
Do me a favor. I haven't done the training yet, so shut your bleeping mouth, all right? Enough of you. Enough of him. I made your career. Now your career is done.
Uh-oh.
Finish. I actually have a proposition.
Lay it on me.
I want you to be the mediator here. It's like the Trey Hendrickson contract negotiation.
Sure.
And we're not just going to help Hickey here. Hickey doesn't think there's a hex, right?
That is true. That is true. He does not think there is a hex.
I have proven true that there is a hex. And I have a lot of documentation and a lot of facts.
Do we have the data analytics of this said hex?
Yeah, I have about 9,000 audio clips. I'll send them to you. So here's what I'm going to propose here in the final minute. Ryan Hickey, you believe Penn State's winning the national championship?
That is correct.
I don't think they will.
Okay.
Even though I think Penn State is a really good team. But Hickey's very confident. If there's no hex, then Penn State should win the national championship.
Seems reasonable.
So I want to modify this. We will retire the Hickey hex if and only if Penn State wins the national championship this year. If not, then it's a free-for-all to go after Hickey.
You know what, Ryan? Zach presents a really,
the damage
really...
is done.
Yes.
Look at the poster.
Yeah, you know
A
what?
listener sent that. That's radio.
That's right.
I get listeners to send things, and you two bozos are upset about this?
Training. Mandatory. 16 hours.
Training.
Actually, it's 8 hours on both Saturday and Sunday, the 6th and 7th of
16 hours.
September.
That's a long
Hey,
time.
I like
of
that
learning.
really tall intern. Can we bring him back and make him an employee? He'll do the training for me. All right, so you guys have ambushed me on my own show. I don't like
Surprise the
this.
man who thought it a surprise.
Okay. Oh my God, you've changed. You're now sucking up to management, talking to management all the time now. So
Can I
do
say learn for the
mandatory
best?
training, or do we just go with the Hickey hex gets retired if Penn State wins the national championship?
Training is mandatory.
Okay, well I'll have a conversation off the air.
Understood.
I don't know if it's going to be a two-way conversation.
Thank you,
Maybe
Zach.
it'll
Well,
be
you
a
know,
one-way
unfortunately,
conversation.
Zach, I got to tell you, man, you've done it to yourself.
Well, you know what? It is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. I have not agreed to any of this bullcrap. I feel attacked. I feel offended. Actually, you're going to have sensitivity training because I'm offended right now. I'm going to HR. See ya.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Infinity and beyond.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show.
Alrighty, hour number 2 of our radio program. That's right. It is the Zach Gelb Show, coast to coast on the Infinity Sports Network. Now joining us, one of the best in the country. That, of course, is Ty Dunn. Does an excellent job covering the NFL all throughout the season. Make sure you catch him out at golongtd.com. Ty Dunn, my friend, how are you?
Zach, always good to talk with you, man, because we get to see each other in the Zoom virtual world. So it's always good to make it as real as possible, man. How you been?
Well, hold on. You have an excellent set right now. It looks like you're in your backyard on your deck, and it looks like it's a nice weather day. I think you're in the Buffalo area, if memory serves me right. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, right outside of Buffalo, Boston, New York. Believe it or not, it's a little town about 15 minutes from Orchard Park. But we're moving even further down to the southern tier. I grew up like in Salamanca, Ellicottville. For anybody who knows wherever the hell that is, it's God's country. So we're building a house, and as we build the house, my office is kind of torn to shreds. So been doing on my podcast on the back deck. I feel like I should do it Should have been doing it all the time. Edmund, my dog, might make an appearance. Who knows? Maybe Ella or Sonny pop out to say hello. You never know what could happen.
Well, we are a dog-friendly program. I will say I think this should just be like a one-time thing. You should always do your podcast and all your stuff this way. And I think you get people to come out to you. Like, I would go to your deck and I would have some wings. I would have a beer with you and I would come do a show or something like that. Probably fly out there because the drive would be really long from the city, even though I've done that drive before. But I think this should be, a yearly thing. I think this should be your permanent studios now.
I'm in. I don't know why I'm drinking a coffee here. A hot coffee on a 91-degree day. What the hell's wrong with me? I should have grabbed an IPA and really let the takes fly.
So, by the way, yesterday, I don't know if you know this, it was National Chicken Wing Day. So I'm assuming that you are a normal, sane human being and you dip those chicken wings in blue cheese. But we have a problem in the NFL. This is a character flaw for me when people go with ranch over blue cheese on their wings. But I talked to a lot of NFL players, and I always ask them about this. And Jonathan Taylor was the one who said the Northeast guys are blue cheese guys. Everyone else is kind of ranch. We need to start making blue cheese really popular outside of just the Northeast. And we got to make sure that all these other players know that they're doing a disservice to the National Football League by loving ranch.
I obviously agree 100%. It's got to be Rudy's Blue Cheese, by the way. That's the best brand you can get. I don't have a sponsorship. I just love Rudy's Blue Cheese. In all seriousness, too, Zach, agents tell players drafted by the Bills ahead of time that you're going to be asked about chicken wings. Make sure you say that you eat your chicken wings with blue cheese, because there's been guys who have said ranch, and I'm no chicken wing snob. Hey, if you like ranch, whatever floats your boat, knock yourself out. But they get killed. I mean, these draftees get absolutely murdered by the fan base.
Well,
if they
I actually
say they
did some of the
enjoy their
killing
wings
this
with
year.
ranch.
I did some of the killing this year because I had a regular conversation with Deion Walker before he probably even knew where Buffalo was. And I asked him ranch or blue cheese, and he's like, oh, blue cheese tastes like sour milk. And when he got drafted by the Bills, I may have pushed that information out there. And I may have had a conversation actually about a high-ranking official in the Bills front office saying, you guys may have missed this in the scouting process. I'm just letting you know who you drafted. Even though I'm a big fan of Deion Walker, he is a ranch guy. You may want to change those ways with him.
You know what? If Deion Walker, he should have really executed full go on a full attack mode with public relations. Like, do the research, let the fan base know I go to 911 Tavern in South Buffalo, the #1 chicken wing spot in all of North America. I cannot say enough. Hole in the wall. Make sure, if you gotta go to the bathroom, make sure you go ahead of time. Not the best, but the best wings. You might even wait 2-3 hours, and it's worth every minute because you won't be disappointed. Just basic hot. You don't got to get fancy. Doesn't be garlic this or barbecue that. Just basic hot wings. And, hey, if you're going to come to Western New York, let me know, and maybe we'll get together and have a beer.
All righty, let's get to Trey Hendrickson, Ty Dunn here with us on the show. So I saw the Schefter report. Obviously, he reported to camp today. The holdout is over, even though he's not participating in drills. But in the Schefter report, he talked about how they're kind of in agreement on the total value of the contract and also the years of the contract, but the big holdup still is guaranteed money. I'm actually optimistic after reading that, and when we get more of the full picture here, that, hey, him showing up means, okay, within a week, this deal, you would think they could find a little common ground and find a compromise and get Trey Hendrickson back on the field actually playing for the Bengals this upcoming year.
Yeah, man, that was totally my interpretation of the report today with Trey Hendrickson. It sounds like this is moving the right direction. It's fine print stuff. It's still maddening, Zach, right? Like, do other teams have as many hangups as the Cincinnati Bengals with a contract? Right, it's always something in the margins, something in the fine print, stuff that could have got done a long, long time ago. We'll see if this thing lingers, another week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But he's a veteran. He's off of a career year. He's got one job: attack the quarterback. He does it as well as anybody in the business, so he'll be able to assimilate quickly. And when he does, Zach, I mean, for all of the drama and the headaches that have been going on there in Cincinnati, Shamar Stewart, and it's so unnecessary. It's similar to Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and those Dallas Cowboys. It's kind of funny. You got the richest sports franchise in the world that their timing is all off in every possible way. They just don't know how to make money fungible and get these deals done and go sign some players and drop that cap number once you do extend your stars. And then the Bengals, who have historically been, by and large, the cheapest, one of the cheaper franchises in sports, they had the same problem. But I think once it gets done, Cincinnati immediately boomerangs back into Super Bowl contention. I mean, this is a team that should be thinking Super Bowl or bust with Hendrickson, with a new defensive coordinator, with somebody now Golden who's going to play those young guys on defense, and maybe take your lumps in September because you know there's going to be a payoff in January. Lou Anarumo, one of the best of this era, obviously, what he's been able to do to Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen in some big-time spots, but I think his downfall at the end was a resistance to just playing young guys, maybe catering to their strengths, and still kind of sticking with this scheme where, look, Cincinnati just has to be average on defense. They get to average, and you can get to average with Trey Hendrickson. Yeah, you should be thinking about Santa Clara in February.
I just look at the Bengals right now, and if you want to tell me they're the fourth best team in the AFC once this Hendrickson stuff gets taken care of, all right, I could live with that. I think the fourth team thing is up for grabs, right? You look at teams like the Broncos, the Chargers, the Texans may have a thing or two to say about that. But when you look at the top, my top three in the AFC in this order, Kansas City still one until someone takes them down in the AFC. Then I put the Bills 2 and the Ravens 3. But it seems like a lot of people think that this is going to be the Ravens' year. How do you rank those three teams in the AFC in order?
I know this is going to seem like a cop-out, but I would take those four teams, Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Bengals, throw them in a hat, shake it up, toss it, and I'd be okay living with the results 1 through 4 of any of these teams because they all have the quarterbacks. As long as Lamar and Burrow and Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are healthy, they are the heavy hitters in the AFC. They're going to be competing for Super Bowls. But, you know, that's just a bunch of filibustering. I got to give you some kind of answer here, right, Zach? I do love Burrow, though, and I feel like, man, he had statistically one of the best seasons we've ever seen out of the position, and we hardly talked about it.
If they make the playoffs, he wins the MVP. It's that he led the league in passing yards and passing touchdowns. That team makes the playoffs. They show up in week 1 up against New England. He would have won the MVP last year.
Totally. And you've got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins locked in. Now, you probably could have gotten that year 1, year 2 cap number down and maybe gotten a starter on defense, but that's another conversation. They're locked in. Mike Gesicki, Chase Brown, you've got some weapons, but Joe Burrow, I mean, the way he thinks play to play and just absolutely dismantles you, obliterates you with his brain. I mean, he came out scorched earth last season. I think getting Trey Hendrickson now, think about every season for Cincinnati, Zach. They go into this thing and there's some kind of buzzkill going on, whether it's Burrow having an injury, Jamar Chase's contract situation, Mike Brown saying something that maybe he shouldn't. Now this Hendrickson thing. If you get Hendrickson in there, he wants to be in Cincinnati. He's made that clear. He gets his money. Man, the vibes all of a sudden are really, really good in September, and maybe they actually start a season fast. Maybe they know how to tackle on defense, and I love Cincinnati. I mean, being here in Buffalo, too, as long as you have Josh Allen, you're contending year in and year out. The Chiefs are interesting. I was talking to an AFC front office exec recently, and he brought up Patrick Mahomes unsolicited, and he said, look at Mahomes on film. I know this is sacrilegious. I know it's taboo. I know we're not allowed to talk like this, but physically, athletically, things are eroding just a bit, he thought, with Mahomes' game, and he might have to adjust at this point of his career. Now, he's got a psychological stranglehold of these Buffalo Bills in Western New York. That's why they went out and signed a bunch of defensive players and drafted a bunch of defensive players. Until you see it, you can't believe that Sean McDermott and the Bills defense can stop this guy. But I think it's something worth monitoring with Mahomes' game. How does he evolve as, in my opinion, the second best quarterback to ever play the game?
Still, though, with all that being said, the last 3 years, for all the flaws and all the vulnerabilities with the Chiefs and how the offense, right, it didn't look like what it was with Tyreek Hill. Well, they won 2 Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill, and they've gone to another one. So it's like, I grew up as a Patriot fan. I'm still a Patriot fan. And how many years did I hear all these people in the media talk and say, this is going to be the year Tom Brady falls off that cliff? Until someone takes out Mahomes and then takes him out the next season as well, and we go 2 years without the Chiefs being in the Super Bowl, I kind of, respectfully laugh at all that stuff with Mahomes.
I mean, the Chiefs are the San Antonio Spurs, right? They're going to treat the regular season like an extension of the preseason and make sure they're peaking at the right time in the playoffs. That's when you're going to stay healthy. That's when you know what your identity is, all of that stuff. But I'll say this, they better improve on the offensive line because that was an absolute physical beatdown put on by Josh Sweat and Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith and the Philadelphia Eagles. Hell, they didn't blitz one time. We were both there in New Orleans. It was unbelievable. So that's why the Bills are trying to load up on the D-line. Brandon Beane came up in that Carolina Panther system. He saw those Panthers of yesteryear take it to Tom Brady and won Super Bowl, almost win that. He saw them in 2015 with that nasty defense. They want to create what Philadelphia created. And so this isn't the first time that Patrick Mahomes was running for his life. That Tampa Bay Super Bowl, hell, what was the statistic from Next Gen Stats? I think he ran around for like 497 yards before sacks and throws. And it was after that game where I was talking to one of Mahomes' best friends. They were down at Augusta playing around a golf. He had a terrible shot. He's like in the rough. Mahomes gets a call from Brett Veach and Andy Reid. You can't take calls, where the Masters is played, but they're like, this person keeps calling you better take it. And they were letting him know that they had signed Orlando Brown. And they got Orlando Brown Jr. He's all excited. The adrenaline's pumping. He hits the most incredible golf shot of his life to get onto the green. That's just competitively how Patrick Mahomes is wired. So is Josh Simmons that guy? Right? Do they have the necessary reinforcements on the offensive line to give him the time he needs, as maybe athletically he fades just a bit? That remains to be seen.
Ty Dunn here with us. Who's the biggest challenger? Who's the team that you trust the most in the NFC to take down the Eagles this year and prevent them from going back to a Super Bowl?
Eagles are a juggernaut, 1 through 53 loaded. We could talk about Howie Roseman for an hour and it wouldn't be long enough. And I do love Dan Quinn's culture with the Washington Commanders and how they really rebuilt that thing from the inside out. But give me Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. I feel like, yes, they lost Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn. There's a brain drain there. And we've seen with other teams that can have an effect. But they were preparing for this, right? You're bringing in an offensive coordinator, John Morton, who was there in 2022, who saw how this thing was built. Defensively, Kelvin Shepard, former Buffalo Bills linebacker. Now, they've been grooming him for this opportunity, and players love him. And I feel like they're getting their entire defense back. Like, this defense was a shell of itself last year.
A lot of injuries.
And you're picking up Jamal Adams and Miles Adams and who knows who else from the Adams family. I mean, David Long. They're picking up guys on the fly. What did Dan Campbell call them? The quote-unquote Northern Savages. And they still got the number 1 seed. It was ugly how it ended against the Commanders. I'll give you that. But I know that's the last kind of image we have of the Lions defense. But you're getting back the player who would have won Defensive Player of the Year in Aiden Hutchinson. You signed DJ Reed, Alex Anzalone. I think Terrion Arnold. I know he had a ton of penalties. Love his physicality. There's still a defensive back group that's going to get in your face. Aleem McNeil, one of the best D tackles in football. And they drafted a guy that I know the Bills liked as well in the first round. So defensively, it's going to be a completely different team than what we saw down the stretch last year. So I think that they'll actually be able to win because of their defense, in spite of their defense. And offensively, I mean, personnel-wise, they're as loaded as anybody in the NFL still.
Wrap it up with Ty Dunn. Who are you praising more staying in the NFC North at the end of the year? J.J. McCarthy or Caleb Williams?
J.J. McCarthy. Yeah, I think that what Kevin O'Connell, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah have built there in Minnesota is built to last culturally. We probably talked about it in the past where this franchise was with Mike Zimmer. I mean, it was toxic beyond belief. So he kind of started there, making people want to go to work at 5 a.m. when the alarm blares and not being miserable. Like, that's where this head coach started. And then once he was able to implement his offense, it is as quarterback friendly as it gets. I don't really know much about McCarthy. I don't think anybody does, how his game will translate, but I trust the coaching, obviously trust the weapons. I mean, bringing in Jordan Mason to pair with Aaron Jones was genius. And I get there's a lot of Caleb Williams hype. Ben Johnson is a wizard. I'll tell you what, man, I'll believe it when I see it. I think it was a hell of a lot uglier than we're talking about for Caleb Williams. Right, let's not just sit here and blame everybody but Caleb Williams. He was bad most of last season. And if he won't take accountability, well, I guess other people can talk about it because he clearly doesn't want to take accountability. It's other coaches that are being thrown under the rug. Hey, he's talented. The talent's there. But when he gets punched in the mouth, we don't know how he's going to respond because he didn't respond last year well.
What are the Steelers going to do this year with your BFF, Aaron Rodgers?
I will say this. As much as I've criticized Aaron Rodgers, I loved it when that little kid just throws a football onto a golf course and he throws it the other direction. Teach him a lesson. You can't just be throwing objects onto the golf course. I kind of liked it. I know he got killed for it. Hey, look. I'm sure Rodgers and Mike Tomlin are sitting there in a dark room talking about everybody's counting us out. Nobody believes with their ayahuasca. Who knows what else? What did Terry Bradshaw said? Go eat bark. Who knows? Maybe they're nibbling on some bark. I don't know, man. Like, he can be as motivated to stick it to people like us as much as he wants. Outside of Tom Brady, quarterbacks at this age, they are knocked out by Father Time. You know, Rodgers talked about it himself last year. There's just things he can't do physically, athletically, that he once did. He excelled outside of the pocket with improvisation, with the thousands and tens of thousands of baked-in reps with Devontae Adams and Randall Cobb and Jordy Nelson and those guys. I can't see the Steelers waving that magic wand, signing DK Metcalf, and drafting a running back and trading for Jalen Ramsey and saying, we're going to compete with Burrow and Lamar and Josh Allen and Mahomes. I think they're a 7-8 win team. And hell, I really like Cleveland's plan at quarterback more than Pittsburgh, honestly. At least they're like, one of these four guys, hell, let's throw the darts at the board. If something hits, great. But now we got 2 first-rounders next year. It's a little more forward thinking. For better or worse, Pittsburgh just doesn't think like that. It's compete now, win the day, try to get into the playoffs with Devlin the Duck Hodges and almost pull it off versus, you know what? Let's look at that quarterback class in the draft next year, maybe rebuild gracefully and attack, a class of quarterbacks that's going to set us up for the future. That's just not how Mike Tomlin's wired, right? And we love it. His team's going to fight like hell. But I think that sometimes it pays to have a GM and a front office looking at the forest as opposed to the trees.
I'm going to merge 2 ideas here in the past, and we'll wrap it up here with Ty Dunn. I remember Seahawks-Eagles wildcard weekend a few years ago. That's when Jerry Jones waited to say, okay, they're not going to extend the head coach Jason Garrett, and they wanted to take away from the Eagles in that spot because they weren't in the postseason. I also remember last year, Sunday of the start of the football season, they gave that contract to Dak Prescott. When it comes to Micah Parsons, I think they're going to try to take away from the Eagles' thunder. I think they're going to wait, just like they did with Dak, and come week 1, Thursday night to open up the football season, that's when you'll have all the pregame shows talking about the Cowboys because Micah Parsons will have a new contract that morning of the start of the season. Your thoughts?
Dude, I mean, there's probably people listening thinking that we have tinfoil hats on and, these are really important business, football people. They know what they're doing and no way would they do so. Like, no, this is what Jerry Jones does. He wants the splash. He knows all news is good news. I could absolutely see that being a realistic scenario where let's capitalize the headline and the moment, even if it's costing us millions of dollars and even if it cost us a free agent back in March, right? Like Dak Prescott, like CeeDee Lamb, you could have got these deals done at least a year ahead of time, lowered the cap number, gotten weapons to build a roster around a 12-win team. How they won 12 games 3 years in a row. They never do it. They care about the star. And look, as far as Jerry Jones is concerned, at the end of the day, he's making more money than anybody. He looks at that as a success. He doesn't care about winning Super Bowls as much as he tells us at press conferences. Look at their actions, not their words. That is not priority number 1 in Dallas.
GoLongTD.com. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you read it because it is sensational. He is Ty Dunn joining us on the Zach Gelb Show. Ty, always appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach.
You got it. There he is, Ty Dunn joining us. Andrew Perloff coming up 20 minutes from now. Take 5 Wednesday. Next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The football season might be over.
What? Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is.
But don't you worry, there are still rankings to be made. So get ready as Zach gives you his top 5 in this week's special edition of Take 5 Wednesday.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
Alrighty, it's time to get to a little Take 5 Wednesday right here on the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. So usually what we do here is when we get to the Take 5 Wednesday, we usually talk a lot about quarterbacks or head coach, and we rank those, and we give you, right, the 5 best teams, the 5 best head coaches, the 5 best quarterbacks in NFL or a college season. But this is what we're going to do today. We're going to take away the teams, we're going to take away the coaches, and we are also going to take away the quarterbacks. I am looking for the top 5 best non-quarterbacks in college this year. So, when we get to that, we will start in at number 5. We will go to Ryan Hickey's school, and that, of course, is Penn State. I think Penn State's going to be really good this year. I think Penn State is championship or bust. But I also know Hickey is guaranteeing that Penn State's going to win the national championship. So, I therefore know that in a big game, James Franklin, Drew Aller, or whomever are going to dribble down their leg. With that being said, Penn State has a player in Dani Dennis Sutton, who we all know was really good last year, but he didn't really get the shine a year ago because of the fact that you had Warren Sapp's best friend, Abdul Carter, leading the way on that defensive side of the ball, and then offensively, it was Tyler Warren. Those are the 2 players on Penn State we talked about the most. It was Tyler Warren, it was Abdul Carter, and then you talked about the quarterback in Drew Aller. But I look at Dani Dennis Sutton as someone that could be this next great Penn State pass rusher, so I put him in at number 5. In at number 4, I'm going with Caleb Downs, the unbelievable secondary player, defensive back for The Ohio State. You know, it's amazing. Ohio State, not only did they win a national championship last year, but some of the players they've been able to retain because of the fact they didn't just go run to the NFL draft or weren't draft eligible. That's a big thing. Caleb Downs is phenomenal. He arguably could be the best defensive player in college football this year, and he will easily be a top 5 pick in this upcoming NFL draft. But I put Caleb Downs in there at Ohio State in at number 4. In at number 3, this was a guy that we were on big time last year. This is a guy that we even started the 2025 Heisman Trophy campaign for last year in 2024, and that is Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame. The only thing that's going to hold him back are injuries. But last year they were kind of very careful with the amount of carries they gave him because of how many backs they did have on the roster. I think he's going to get more food on his plate this year, and this is going to be full go for Jeremiah Love as long as he is just healthy. And at number 2, the guy that's in the number 1 spot that I'm going to mention in just a bit, but this guy that I'm going to mention right here, it was basically in the first part of the season, who's the better player? And one week it would be this guy, the next week it would be the next guy, and just the next day ended up going and winning a national championship and had the biggest play in the national championship. And it's crazy how he still has to play 2 more years of college football. Both these guys do. So Ryan Williams in at number 2. He was unbelievable last year, really without a quarterback that had any consistency. Because Jalen Milroe, yeah, he was on some games. And there would be games like Georgia where he had that 75-yard touchdown catch right down the right sideline for Ryan Williams, which was elite, which was amazing, which was sensational. But then there was other games where you threw Jalen Milroe out there, and it looked like he was throwing with the blindfold around his eyes. So Ryan Williams is phenomenal. He is a stud. I think Alabama's going to have a big bounce back year after missing the college football playoff a year ago. And he is my second best non-quarterback in college football entering this season. And in at number 1, it's Jeremiah Smith. It's amazing how many receivers they've had recently at The Ohio State, whether it was Garrett Wilson, whether it was Chris Olave, whether it was Michael Thomas, Marvin Harrison Jr., Maserati Mav. And you keep on just going on and on and on and on and on with Emeka Egbuka, right? Like sometimes I feel in the national discourse, he is even underappreciated. I think he's going to be a stud in Tampa Bay. It's insane that that's where he winds up, but the other wide receivers are on that roster. But Jeremiah Smith, all you need to know about him is in his first college season, national championship game on the line, 3rd and long. Most teams, right, you run it, you waste the clock. No. I'm sitting there in the building, and I said, I turned to Hickey, I said, they got to throw the ball. He goes, I agree. And I go, you know who it's going to? And we both looked at each other, and we said, Jeremiah Smith. The next thing you know, Will Howard down the right sideline to Jeremiah Smith. Ball game, national championship. So My top 5 best non-quarterbacks in college entering this season. Denied Dennis Sutton from Penn State in at 5. Caleb Downs from Ohio State in at 4. Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame in at 3. Ryan Williams in at 2 from Alabama. And then Jeremiah Smith in at 1 from the Ohio State University. Samter, speak now, forever hold your peace.
I was waiting for you to introduce me. I'm sitting here holding something, twiddling my thumbs. So there are a few guys. I've been looking at a few.
Santa's going to say, why did you have denied Dennis Sutton on your list?
Yeah, denied Dennis Sutton, I think, is one of those guys who he's completely overlooked. No, so I've been looking at a couple different draft boards, some of the highest rated players outside of the quarterback position, and the highest rated guy on multiple different draft boards on the defensive side is Anthony Hill Jr., the linebacker from Texas.
Stud.
He had over 100 tackles last year with 8 sacks, 113 tackles, 4 forced fumbles. This is going to be a great team as well, Texas, vying for a national championship. So why did you not have him on there?
Yeah, it's a fair point. He was someone that was under consideration. I just think that denied Dennis Sutton is just a bit more explosive, especially at the position that he does play. And Caleb Downs, right, has won the national championship, and I think going into this season is regarded as the best defensive player. And then I gave you 3 offensive players where, as good as Anthony Hill Jr. is, I don't think anyone's going to argue that he's better than Jeremiah Smith or Ryan Williams. And there, Jeremiah Love, to me, a recency bias, right? Look how great Ashton Genty was. Is this the next Ashton Genty in college football, even though he's playing at Notre Dame, but just being kind of, that dominant of a running back? I think he can be. So that's just kind of the way that the cookie crumbled there, why I left him out.
All right, now the consensus best tackle offensive lineman is Spencer Fano out of Utah. There's a couple of them. There's Proctor, I believe, out of Alabama. I forget his first name. But Spencer Fano has been kind of at the top of most of the boards that I've seen. I know it's hard to rank and rate these offensive linemen, but what do you think about him?
So that's where I struggled on this with offensive linemen. I was looking for just a general agreement. Last year entering this, everyone, Will Howard. There was just 3 or 4 names, so I only get 5. So that's why, since there was like 2 or 3 or 4 offensive linemen that it could have been, I didn't think there was a clear-cut name. That's why I elected to leave him out.
Okay, so then we're going to go back onto the defensive side of the ball. TJ Parker, 11 sacks last year for Clemson, 5.5 as a sophomore. Or as a freshman, so he's coming into his junior year, widely considered the best pass rusher right now in college football. Surprising that he wasn't on the list.
Yeah, so he was also someone that I really thought, I think still Caleb Downs, as I said, is the best defensive player in college football, and you could even argue that was the case, for the last 2 seasons. You just look at denied Dennis Sutton, I'm doing it based off potential. This guy last year had 8.5 sacks, and you saw him shine a little bit even with some of those injuries with Abdul Carter. Now it's a full go without Abdul Carter. So you could definitely say, hey, with Abdul Carter out there, maybe made his production even better. I think, though, that now he gets that baton and he's the guy in Happy Valley, and that's what's going to make him really break out, and he's just getting going. So, if you want to put Parker on there, I'm fine. I just look at the upside there with denied Dennis Sutton.
And then the last one for me is going to be Nicholas Singleton, who is the star running back for Penn State. He had over 1,000 yards last year, had over 1,000 yards as well back in 2022. He's a senior now. It feels like he's got 32 touchdowns over his last 3 years. That's one of those guys who I think could be an easy first-round pick at the running back position.
Sure, but you also have Katron Allen, who is just as good. So I didn't know how to decipher between the two, and I wasn't going to put both of them in there, and I didn't really know how to break the tie on that. And also, I think when you look at Penn State last year, right, they lost Tyler Warren, they lost, they lost Abdul Carter. You bring back Drew Aller. Drew Aller, to me, even though he's not their best player on the offense, that's where all the focus does go. And then defensively, I just think the name that I've heard more buzz on is denied Dennis Sutton. But the 2 running backs are great. It just, they both pop off on the same day, but there could be weeks where only one goes and the other one doesn't. So it was tough to break the tie there. Alrighty, that's Take 5 Wednesday, the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. We will come on back. Andrew Perloff wants to join the show. He texted me earlier today. He said he has some story. He wouldn't tell me what the story is. So we're going to do it live on the air next, and we'll find out. He supposedly has a gripe with someone. So I don't know who the gripe is with. It could be with me. Could be with Stu. It could be with Samter. I didn't even know Gordon Damer was working today, so I doubt it was Gordon Damer. If it was Zach, potentially. So, Gordon, I don't think you have to be holding your breath during the break.
I will not hold my breath.
Yeah.
Based on that alone.
Yeah. So we will take a break and we'll find out what Andrew Perloff is perturbed about. What is Perloff perturbed about? We'll find out next. Update time first. Here's the always dapper Gordon Damer.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
Zach, 39 days until the Bengals open up their season against the Browns. It's anyone's guess if Trey Hendrickson will have a new contract by then. 4-time Pro Bowl pass rusher did show up to training camp today, did not take part in practice. The hope is that by showing up, he could kickstart contract negotiations with the team, which reports are nowhere close. But how long does he need to get ready for the season?
I'm always ready. I think that's something that I take a lot of pride in, training hard in the offseason, getting bigger, faster, stronger. I think I tell Jeff Hobbs the same thing every offseason when we've been here together the last 2 years. So how I train, I'm not worried about. If I'm going to be ready, I'm not worried about it.
Bengals did release veteran running back Zach Moss today. Major League Baseball trade deadline set for tomorrow, 6 p.m.